Okay, right. So for those of you who didn't join us, we were shooting Pancake cereal, and what I'm doing now using P on the shortcut, and we're in the library module in Lightroom, and I am picking out any images that are different in any way. I do this, those of you who've watched the others will know this, but it's so that I can have choices and place markers. So later on, if one's slightly out of focus, I've got a place marker to bring me back. So we'll fly through these. Yeah, we had lots of fun on the shoot. We were throwing all sorts of things around. You'll see just now, there it is, the milk that got thrown about. Okay, wowza, look at this. Hey. Shot 75 I am putting forward as my favorite thus far, although he has some others that are showing some real potential. Don't spend too much time, rather take more than less. We can always, once we've got them big and full screen, we'll very quickly take out what we don't like, so don't worry about that too much yet. Okay, yeah, this is when we started dropping them into the milk. Now obviously there's lots, because we're shooting very high amount of frames on burst, high speed burst. So where it doesn't have anything to offer, like these ones over here, they're all just the same, so don't worry about those, just leave those out. And we've got some beauty here. Absolute gold. Yes, as well. Cool, so I think that's us. Now we're filtering down at the bottom here by the ticker, and let's get into it. Okay, so into the development module, we're going to boost our exposure. We want these nice, light, bright white, my favorite. Add some contrast and a little bit of texture, vibrancy up, saturation down. Cool little tip here, if you hover over any of these sliders and you use your up or down, it will go up or down in increments of 5. Straight down to the bottom to calibration, and here we're going to just really make things pop. Okay, I like where we're at, and shift, we're gonna go through everything up until the top downs, because the color, the lighting was different there, so we're gonna synchronize there, and here we want to synchronize everything other than local adjustments. We don't need transform, we don't need spot removal, crop, we don't need. Synchronize, and you'll see them start to come to life at the bottom. We immediately see number 2 here is definitely over, so we reset the exposure, we tick it up till we get where we want. bring these highlights down a fraction, and let's boost that. Right, let's just flick through, see how the others are looking. Whoa, that one's gone all over the show. So you'll see now I've got a good starting point to bring these back. For some reason we didn't get our calibration, so that's our before, after. Let's just quickly check our sync. Calibration wasn't ticked. I want that ticked. I'll just do these ones manually. And you'll see them coming to life. You can see the difference that calibration makes. We've just got this real vibrancy coming through now. Here on the second pass, we can also just do the beginnings of our straightening, and we just go through. Okay, now we're gonna follow that calibration through to the end. We synchronize with calibration on, and there we go. Now these chocolate ones, we want to just add some more life to them, not too much. That's better. Now we're talking. Straighten out. You can see this beautiful backdrop. Really, really, really cool. Okay, so now we're back here. Let's flick through. So we're going to bring down a bit. You can see how melting that butter with the lighter just really made it so much more interesting, the way it sort of glistens there. Here's our syrup drizzling over, and you can see the light shining all the way through. Really, really, really comes alive. Gonna boost our shadows up all the way. Right, now we're talking. Look at that. Awesome. Loving it. Okay, next. So again here, we're flicking through. Don't spend too much time. We just want to get them to a nice space, really off of which we will do our final cut. So we use the calibration to get us most of the way there, and then we fine tune per image on the second round with our straightening at the same time. Right. This has really become quite nice. You can see that this light, if you get a double catch light, so one on either side, it really shows the volume of a of the drip, or the the drizzle. And you can see why I really love these LED lights. These were the Vibesta Perigos, same light that I'm using for my accent lighting now, and it just really gives you these beautiful catch lights. This one's going to have to come right down, and here we go. And now you'll see later we'll boost these guys, and we'll inside using the individual colors, but I'll get to that on the following round. Okay, we're back to our chocolate ones. Right, now we've got chocolate dropping. I just want to check where we ended up. 1705.50. Right, so we're going to boost this even more. And that's better. Okay, so now I've got this, it's looking cool. So I'm going to take that to the end of the chocolate ones on this ticker tape, synchronize, whack, and we're done. We don't need to make our lives more difficult. So don't be worried about doing stuff like that. The synchronization tool is literally your best friend. Right, that's looking good. Beautiful, these guys are just bounced off. Love it. Already I can see that that's better. That's nice for my action shot. That's beautiful. This one's not gonna cut it. So I press U on my keyboard and I unflag it and I remove it. This one as well, I can immediately see. I'm not even gonna bother fixing it. This one stays. Hoo-wah, look at that. Get you some of that. Right, next. Also loving this one. I'm gonna boost the contrast here just to get these guys sticking out a little bit more, these dark and light choc chips. Again, I can already see this one just isn't as exciting as the ones that have come before it. It's out. Okay, we're over here. We bring it down. I want to keep this light, very light. These guys are almost turning translucent. It's insanely beautiful. I boost up on the calibration again just to bring that richness, while keeping it very, very light. Bring highlights down just a fraction, just so that I can really get the most out of these guys. Right, so this was our shot just before we poured. So this was our setup shot, but if you look at it, it's just an insanely beautiful shot, so it's definitely staying. Next, whack. Look at that. Okay, let's synchronize just one on. Let's see where we get to here. I mean, what more do you want? That is, I want to bring a little bit of clarity in just to really get this at its finest, and lower the highlights. Beautiful. Now you can see that's image 24 all the way to 36. Similar lighting, although there is some darker ones and lighter ones. We'll do some micro adjustments there, but they're all shot in the same type of series, so we'll synchronize those. And I mean, it's not as good, but that's still a fun shot. That one stays. I mean, I really love what's going on here. We're almost getting this bokeh effect from this flying milk. Beautiful. Oh, just as I was saying that, look at that. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. You can just imagine that sitting and writing a bit of a Instagram story sitting over here. It's just too good. Brighten it up. Beautiful. Okay, so one thing I've noticed on here is we just catching the bottom here where we had that little bowl holding the rest of the set up over that little basin that we built for the shoot. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna crop that out, and there I'm just holding down Alt. Little adjustment. Beautiful. So like with these, keep a stack of them. You can just keep using them. You don't have to put all into a blog post, or your client doesn't have to use all of them in one. You've got this beautiful movement and flow going here. While I'm here, because I don't want to forget it, I'm quickly going to get our brush tool, the clone, and I'm just going to clone out this one white dot, and you'll see that I've only just cloned it out somewhat. There's still an opacity over it, so you can still see it, but it's just not this glaring bright white dot. Oh jeez, I can't get enough of these. Astrid's going to go mad for these. Guaranteed. Beautiful. And guys, I mean, you look at this, and you know, this is the type of stuff we shoot for ad campaigns, and I mean, it takes some practice, but you know, those of you who watch the video, you can see this is very doable. Oh, look at that! Getting that that flying thing out the side like that. I want to try, even though this bowl is a little bit skew, I'd rather keep some more of this. Our backdrop is wavy enough that it kind of hides it for us, so we're lucky on that one. Yeah, this is just too cool. Yeah, so we just got a bunch of keepers here. Beautiful. And remember, you're not shooting for just for the content you're going to put out day one or the next day. Think about the idea that somebody, either you or your client, depending on who you're shooting for, you want content for a long time. So this is something that you can use and still have a nice variety for a very long time. And just keep bringing this. Oh man, look at that shot! Ooh, that is something. I'm so chuffed. I hope you guys are even moderately as excited as me. That'll be enough for me. I think that last one might have been it. This one's doing nothing for me. It's just kind of covering it, and we got so many. This looks like a golf club to me. So we're gonna bin that one. And that was the end of it so that's sort of just looks like a pipe sticking in, so that one's gonna go. Right, so now we're on to these guys. This bamboo, I know we ended up changing this. Earl Grey. We ended up changing the board out because it wasn't consistent with the rest, but we've kept it for this edit because it really is looking, this reflection is insane. It's really, really cool, as is this. And now we've just got another option. So again, the post that Astrid the Sweet Rebellion will do is unlikely to have this one when all the others were shot with this bluish white background or base. So, but it doesn't mean it can't be used at a later stage, so we still definitely keep it. Right. That's the last of these. Okay, so now these were deliberately shot out. As you can see, we're going to now, as always, we're going to lead with our color. Here we're going to bring the highlights right down, because what we want is we want to keep the structure in the milk. But we also don't want to get it too dark and contrasty, so we eliminate our highlights. You can see how they make a massive difference by keeping it like that. Here we want to try somewhat to trying to keep the milk as white as possible while not taking away the yellow from these guys. So it's just going to take a bit of playing around here, mainly in my calibration, and you know, you guys will get used to what works and what doesn't. And it's kind of this little finessing game that you're gonna have to get used to. Right, and then we're gonna zoom in. And because we didn't know what was going to land where, that's why we shot with a lot of space, so that we've got options now. And you can see how we've got these beautiful, interesting, exciting things happening. Okay, I'm going to sync just to keep consistency. What we will do with these is these will go into Photoshop just now, just to start to really, I want this milk to be bright white. We're looking to see where our best points of interest are. Yeah, and set them. Oh, look at this. It's like, oh, just, you want to grab it. It looks like jelly almost. This one's quite washy, although there's something very interesting happening up in this corner, so there might still be something here. Let's have a look. Not gonna bin that one. This one's over. Let's bring that down. There's a lot lot happening here, but there is one hell of a cool shot there, or little point of interest. So we're going to bring it down into that. That is insane. That is insane. I think that's our shot of the day. Although, very over here. Let's just bring that right down. Let's see what we've got. Lots of turmoil. Nothing quite sticking out in terms of the actual product. Like there's a lot of turmoil, so we need to keep more of these guys in here. But it's still pretty cool, quite exciting what's going on here. And as long as we keep in something to give some reference, I think it could work. So that's our shot, that's our shoot. Look at that. Not much more to say than that. But now I am going to give this guy a go, and I'm going to edit it in Photoshop. And the reason I'm going into Photoshop is because I'm going to need to mask out sections, because I can't take the yellow out of the milk without taking that deep rich orangeness out of the product. Right, so now we've got Photoshop open. We're going to duplicate that layer immediately, and we are going to create a hue and saturation layer. We're going to boost the lightness, and we're going to take the saturation down. Okay, and then we're on this mask, so we're going to brush. If you don't know how to use masks, we can deal with that in another show. And then we'll start to mask these guys in. Okay. Now this is obviously going to take a lot of work, but it's also going to pay a lot of dividends. So these are the types of shots that take an immense amount of editing. But you'll see how they start to pay dividends. Although, no, we're going to bin this. Right, so now I'm in Photoshop. I'm going to duplicate the bottom layers just so that I've got this saved the whole time. And the first thing I'm going to tackle is the milk. So I'm going to add an adjustment layer, and I'm going to remove the saturation and the vibrance. So now it's still white, nice and white, but it's a little bit dead. So we're gonna just try add a little bit of life, and we're going to do a soft overlay. Not convinced yet. Need to boost our levels. That's better. Now we're getting somewhere. We're going to duplicate that, and we're going to do 100% white. Bring this down even more, just to give it a little bit of a cool hint. Okay, now we're getting there. We're going to mask this off, and where are we? We need to nest these so that they are only applying to the milk. To do that, I'm just holding down Alt and clicking them in. Go back to this. Right, so now I just go and locate all my bits that were flying in here. And I just do a very rough find of all of them. See if I missed anybody. No. And then I press X, and now I am taking away. And smaller brush. And then I just start to remove it out. We can have some, let's turn this opacity down to 50, and then even less, 20. Just give it some sort of reflection back. Okay, so now we don't want to make this look completely unbelievable. So, right, we just kind of bring that back. And you can see it also shows the milk up a little bit better. Okay, starting to get somewhere. here we want to use our color and our mask to mask off areas that's going to show us the best depth. We want these traveling over each other and in and amongst each other. So build the depth that happened, you know, just accentuating different lines that are there already. That's starting to look really cool. Okay. If you see it go quite dark grey, typically means that you've taken away where there was color quite naturally. So just be cognizant of that. You want to keep color where it should be and then remove out and get this really nice bright white milk magazine editorial ad clean look. And I think we're done. We still got our little colorful dots, and you can see we'll just save this, and now we'll quickly go back and you'll see that's where we were and that's where we are now. And you can see the difference in terms of that is a really awesome shot, but it just lacks that contrast that we can't create because we've got a common color orange or yellow between what's sitting in the milk. And we want that stereotypical bright white milk. Whack. So that's it from me. I'm going to carry on and edit these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Photoshop. And I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. As always, please remember to subscribe and to let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. Thanks.